Hello, everyone. I'll give you a chance to catch on. I know I'm getting on just a little bit late. I got caught up in some texting with some of our staff, and they were giving me a hard time. So it took me a while to get out here. So we'll give a few seconds for a few folks to get connected. Hello, Kevin. I know it's 7 o'clock. Hello, Deidre. We'll wait just a couple of minutes here. Hello, Raylene. Good to see you as well. Good to see everybody kind of joining us here. Hey, Carla. Happy Thursday evening to you as well. It's always nice to see some names that I recognize. Hello, Brenda Gammon. It was good to see Greg this week. Hey, Jeff, buddy. Yeah, you did make it, Carla. Yes, you did. Natalie. Can't wait to hear you sing again, Natalie. Missing hearing you doing some singing. Hello, Stephanie. Glad things are going live in your life. Yeah, good to see. Hey, I look forward to seeing your face too soon, Deidre. I can't wait to do that. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and kind of slowly get started here. I know we're doing this at a different time. Hey, Kelly, good to see you, man. And here's why. Tomorrow is a holiday, and the staff are off tomorrow. And if you were watching last Friday morning, you will notice I can't do these things by myself. Hello, Chris, because I mess up too much. And so, last Friday morning, boy, did I butcher that Friday video. And so without the staff, I would have been in trouble. So since I'm giving them today off tomorrow, isn't that nice of me, because July 4th is on Saturday. We're doing this on Thursday night. But we'll be back on next Friday morning, our same time at 8 a.m., I believe. So let's go ahead and dive in. It's good to see some folks. Please share, especially with many in our church family. I don't care if they're near or far. They need to hear about this information. Hello, sister. I'll text you back. I saw your text, sister. I'll text you back here in a little while. We are in your church family. Hey, Don, we are in the movement of preparing to come back to the house. That's what we're calling it, come back to the house. I know we're seeing some things on the news. Man, it's just awful to hear about the record numbers of infections and this thing moving fast. And so there's some changes that are going on. But we are still planning, knowing that could change. We're planning on August 1st and August 2nd to get you back into the house for worship. Those that are ready, those that are want to, and those of you, there are some, you don't need to. You need to stay at home, and we're still going to have that option for you, whether you're near or you're far. Hey, Deb, good to see you too, Julie. So, August 1st and 2nd, I want to make sure you get that down. And we are working so hard. I'm so proud and so humbled to work with the staff that I get to work with, because we're going to make this returning back to the building with a safe environment, a fun environment. We're going to make things as hands-free for you when you come into worship on that weekend. We're changing some things actually in worship. You'll hear more about that as we go forward to make it safer for you. There will be some distancing practices. We will have hand sanitizer all over the place when you walk in. There'll be someone there to help you check in your children. So yes, there will be stuff for your kids. Hey, Becky, good to see you as well. There will be things for your children. Hey, Corinne, I can't wait to go on vacation with you tomorrow. I love you, Corinne. I cannot wait to see you and James. I miss you two so much. I just cannot wait. So, we're going to have a lot of fun with this thing, and we're going to be ready for you. If you worship in the ark, you'll be able to worship spread out in the sanctuary, to spread out a little bit. We're going to live stream that. So August 1st and 6th, put that on your calendar. Put that there. But there's some things leading up to that. On July the 5th, 12th, and 19th. Let me repeat that. 5th, 12th, and 19th. We'll have our regular worship at 10:25 online. 5th, 12th, and 19th. The next 3 Sundays, 10:25 online, okay? And then on the 26th, our 2 worship times will shift to online 9:30 and 11. Mark that down. July 26th, 9:30 and 11 online. And that weekend, if things still stand well and the governor allows us to do it and everything looks like we can, we're preparing that you'll come back to the building. And on that weekend, we're going to train servants. We're going to train our servants in our small groups for children and youth who are going to be opening the door, who are going to be helping host in the worship space, on how we're going to do this and have a great time, have physical distancing, and yet at the same time not turn anybody away. Because I made a promise to you, when we return back to worship, we are not going to turn anybody away, and we're not going to. And yet we're going to make sure we have plenty of space where you have 6 foot with your family and you're safe. And as you know, with this new mandate that is in right now, we'll be asking you to honor what's going on in the state of Texas, if it's still in place there on that weekend, and be wearing your mask. And then so on August the 1st and 2nd, that's our plan, August 1st and 2nd. So on August 1st and 2nd, this is what will happen. We will have on that Saturday night, August 1st, 6 o'clock worship in the Ark. And then on Sunday morning, 8 o'clock worship in the sanctuary. And then on Sunday morning at 9:30, and if you're watching from far, that will also be live feed, 9:30 live feed, sanctuary. It's going to be in the Ark, but also in the sanctuary. So you can sit in the Ark or sit in the sanctuary, have as much distance as you want, have plenty of space. Hello, Dorcas, good to see you as well. And then the same thing at 11 o'clock on that August the 2nd. So we're kind of moving in that direction. Please keep notice, kind of keep up with things on our website. We have a new and fresh and updated website. I want to give a hip hip hooray and a shout out to Bonnie and to Joe, who kind of helped us make sure to update our website. And if you've not checked it out, you have got to go look at. Hello, Amy, I miss you too. I cannot wait. So I miss you too, Amy. But please give Joe Barrington and Bonnie Mays a shout out for a good job on modifying our website. So you want to keep going to the website. To keep up with everything that is going on. Now, something else that's happening this summer, Cruise Summer Challenge. Hey, students, the Cruise Summer Challenge, it goes all the way through the last day of July, July the 31st. And so students, you have 10 challenges. You can go find them on these hashtag on our social media page, on our youth page, on our crew page. But we want you to find, when you do the challenge, you want to post a picture or a video, hashtag Cruise Summer Challenge. Hashtag Crew Summer Challenge. So be looking for that, kids, students, be a part of that. It's a blast. And also let everybody know, all summer long, Kids Eat Free. That is a program going on even right now, every Thursday, where these wonderful Pathway.Church. I just love you so much that you're feeding children in our community. The building is closed, but the church is open. You're serving kids even right now. And so if you want to be a part of that, there's drop-off for food. You can go onto the outreach page, the Pathway outreach page, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram, and learn about the drop-off locations. And the last one will be August the 6th. Man, we're feeding this summer as many kids as we can, and I'm so proud of that. Now, let me tell you about something else. Our plan was on Monday. That is July the 6th. To open up the building during the day for walkers, for folks kind of come up to between 8 and 5, hang out, chill out. But because of the press conference of our governor today, and the requirement of wearing masks and encouraging people to work at home if they could, we're going to put that off a week, okay? We're just going to put that off a week. We'll kind of give you an update. So we're going to keep you posted, but we want to get you back in the building as quick as we can, but we're trying to keep you safe, our staff safe, and just keep doing the work of the church. But our goal, hello, Jeff Steele, good to see you up there in Kansas. I guess that's where you still are. Our goal is to move toward back in the building on August 1st and 2nd. But if you live somewhere else in the United States of the world and you don't live close by, you can join us online, 9:30 and 11 o'clock. That is on July 26th and August 1st and 2nd going forward, everything being as it is right now. I want to just spend a few minutes before I go in and have dinner with my lovely wife. And I want to just kind of mention one verse. I've been in the book of Romans. You know that ever since last July, I just cannot get out of it. in my own personal reading, but one verse from Romans chapter 13 to leave you with. And this is it. Romans 13 verse 10, it says, love does no harm to a neighbor. Let me repeat that. Romans 13:10, one verse. Love does no harm to a neighbor. And then it finishes, therefore love is the fulfillment of the law. Now, if you keep reading all the letters of the Apostle Paul, you're going to discover that he's going to say that love is the supreme power and the supreme identity of someone who is a follower of Jesus Christ. It's all about love. That when you want to find out who something is, who someone is, that their core, at their character, you strip away all the things at the outside and you get to the very center part of a person's being. At the very center, the nucleus of who that person is, you're going to find out who they are. And the Apostle Paul says of someone who's a follower of Jesus Christ, at the very center, at the core, at the essence, is this thing called love. Love does no harm to a neighbor. Now, we all know that God is many things. God is many things. God is holy. But the holiness of God, I would say, is not at the center of God. God is omnipotent. God is omniscient. But that is not the heart and the core of who God is. When you get to the heart, the very center of the character and the presence of God, it is that God is love. When you strip away everything of a human being, you strip everything of the universe away, the thing that makes the world function and the world hold together and even exist, it is love. And Paul, and I believe Jesus, is inviting you and me into a new and incredible kind of love. And right now in this world, we need it more than ever. Love. When Jesus begins his ministry, I want you to notice what he does. Sometime go check it out at the beginning of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The very first thing he does is he doesn't go hang out with the religious people. He doesn't go hang out in the church building. He goes and hang out with people on the edge. The people who are not in the center of the power structures. He goes to the edge, to the prostitutes, to the tax collectors, to the impoverished, to the poor, and he hangs out with them and puts them in the center. He says, these people are in the center, and I'm going to show you how to love them because that's who I have a heart for. And then the next thing he does, you will notice, when he starts calling people to follow him, he does something incredible. Jesus does not call people who are just like him. He calls out people that are very different than him. In fact, polar opposites. He calls out Matthew the tax collector and Simon the zealot. Now, church, listen to this. They are on polar opposites of the political spectrum. Matthew and Simon, I don't have time to go into it, but they were the opposite. But he said, I want you two guys to come follow me. And I'm going to teach you how to love each other, two political opposites, and how to love other people in the world. And then he called these two guys, called James and John, that were called the sons of thunder. You know, the sons of thunder, literally that translation is sons of anger. Yeah, he called these two guys that are so full of anger. And not only if they had a mother, the sons of Zebedee, they had a mother that was a lawnmower parent. She was always coming to, hey, Jesus, are my kids going to be the most important? My kids going to... So he called these guys that were full of anger, and he says, I'm going to teach you how to love people. And then Jesus called this guy named Judas. Judas would literally be his enemy. Judas would try to take him in. But Jesus loved Judas. He washed his feet. Jesus is calling you and me in this current time on July the 2nd, 2020 to love in a different and profound sort of way because the world needs it now more than ever. He's calling you and me to participate in a love that serves other people, and sometimes that love even suffers for other people. Jesus teaches us and shows us in the Bible that sometime in serving other people, that means that I myself am going to suffer so I might bring no harm. Love does no harm to a neighbor. And Jesus so emptied himself out, emptied himself into other people that sometimes he was so exhausted. I mean, he just served other people, loved other people, took care of other people. He was so exhausted that sometimes he would get on a boat and sail to the other side of the lake just to get away from people. And sometimes he would go and hide in the mountains, and the disciples couldn't find him. But he was so exhausted. He had so emptied himself. He was suffering from fatigue and exhaustion that he had to go away to get replenished by the Father so he could go serve, even to the point of suffering for the sake of others some more. And church, I just wonder what would happen in this world if you and I really figured out what it meant to love people, and that was the platform on which we lived our life. Not political platforms, not social platforms, but the platform of the love of God, which is the supreme at the very center of who God is. God is love. We could change this world. We could change America for sure. In the first 300 years of the church endured a lot of suffering up to the point when Constantine comes into play. And for those first 300 years, when the church would gather, this is the question they would ask when the church come together. They would say, how do we nobly endure suffering for the sake of the gospel? Let me say that again. The church would sit together and talk and say, how do we endure suffering nobly for the sake of the gospel? Saturday is the birthday of America. Let that sink in. Saturday is the birthday of America. America exists because there were people who suffered, who laid down their life over many years that you and I might be free. Love does no harm to a neighbor. It protects the neighbor. There were many families who suffered as their loved ones went off to war, to fight, to defend the freedom of this beloved country in which we live. And there was a corporate suffering that the willingness of the group, of everybody in America, to corporately suffer for the well-being of one another. And church, it seems like that we have lost the ability in America to corporately together, suffer together. We blame each other. We condemn and shame each other. We polarize and separate and divide each other based on wear mask, don't wear mask, vote here, vote there. And we have not rallied around the concept and the idea of being united to do no harm to our neighbor by truly loving them, even by my own personal suffering, if that's what it requires. Because that is the way of Jesus, who emptied himself and laid down his life so that others might know they are loved. Now, what does this all have to do with us today on July the 2nd in 2020? There's been a lot of suffering going on this year. A lot of suffering. I know that. This COVID-19, I mean, we can go back beyond that, but we'll just go there. COVID-19. Some of you, mental and emotional suffering of being holed up and isolated in your homes. Some of you have experienced the economic suffering because of just the isolation, and the economic shutdown has just pillaged your business and made it so difficult and challenging. Some of you have experienced a suffering in your relationships because some have had great experiences at home with your family, but for some it's put a little strain on the family and the marriage. And I know of family and marriages that have ended, even famous people, because of the suffering from not knowing how to get along. The suffering. And let's make it a little bit lighthearted. I know there are some of us here that feel like it is suffering when I have to wear a mask. because it goes against my belief system. It goes against my principle or my politics or whatever, or my understanding of what's going on in the world. And believe me, I get that. Today, our governor asked us all to wear masks for an extended period of time. And I'm asking all of us who call Pathway our home to follow the direction of our governor and to do just that, regardless of how you feel or believe about it, so you do no harm, because love knows no harm to its neighbor. Love does no harm to its neighbor. And the purpose of wearing a mask, besides the preventing the sparing of spreading the COVID, but spreading it, is so I don't do harm to my neighbor, right? Because somehow, if I'm infected, and I don't know it, I'm even asymptomatic, my breath, the particles out of it, can spread and bring harm to somebody else. So church, from the bottom of my heart, I'm asking you, not because our governor asked us, not because of some political left or right, I don't care where you stand. For the purpose of doing no harm to your neighbor. No harm to your neighbor. For a while, please, when you're interacting with others, wear a mask. Simply because of the principle of love, I'm going to suffer for the well-being of somebody else. And it's centered on love, not fear. Hey, I don't have a fear. Hey, you come up to me, you don't have a mask on, you can breathe all over me. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid at all. Okay, bring it on. I'll hug you. If you want me to hug you, I'll shake your hand. You want me to do it? I'm okay with doing that. I'm okay. I'm not afraid. I don't do this out of fear. I do this out of faith in the one who has called me in his word to do no harm to my neighbor. And that's just the ask, okay? No harm to my neighbor. And that's it. That's why. That's why. So church, that's really all I got, That's all I got. I'm so convicted about this. I think August 1st and 2nd, we're going to start a message series on love. And through the entire month of August, every weekend, we're going to learn a little bit more about what Paul says. I think we'll take 1 Corinthians 13, and we'll just work through love all the way through it, okay? And remind you, before we sing our song, get out of here, we could sing God Bless America, right? I love the USA. But before we get out of here and you celebrate, I want to remind you, the greatest privilege we have is to serve God, to serve the Lord Jesus Christ, and to minister to one another. And it's humbling to be a part of such an outstanding, fantastic, wonderful church. I love you. I'm proud of you. And we're going to get through this. We are going to get through this. And God is going to use us. Why? Because he is a way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 You are way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, God is who you are. And God is love. And that's the way of the people of Pathway Church. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. God bless America, and may God bless each of you. Happy 4th, church family. Bye.